Be thankful unto the Mother, Father, creative life force of the universe. Kudzai, Kudzimu Mukono, we give praises unto our great ancestors because our ancestors are worthy to be praised.
Yeah.
Habibi Tumi, Habibi Fahodi, African liberation and African power for all African people. Tenda Mwari. Ofun, the giving one, gives to them so that they might nurture. Ofun, the giving one, gives to them so that they might care for others. This was the teaching of Ifa for Oduduwa, who was doing good all over the world. He said, doing good worldwide is the best expression of character. They said, a part of the world would not thank him for his kindness, and others would not even recognize its value. But he said, a father cannot help but give good things to his children, and a mother cannot help but give good things to her daughter or son. They said that Oduduwa should sacrifice, so that all the good things which he gave people, if they were wasted in the world, they would return to him in good order. He heard and he sacrificed. Such is the wisdom of Muzimu Mukula, our great ancestors. Hail to the power of the word.
Hail to the power of the word.
The significance of this passage that is taken from the Odu Ifa, which is the sacred wisdom of our Yoruba ancestors, will become apparent and clear throughout the message. And if it's not, you can bring it back to it in the discussion, brothers and sisters. So stay tuned. It will all make sense in due time. How's everybody feeling?
I hear it.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
All right, brothers and sisters. We're here to honor a great man, and in fact, we're going to be honoring two great men today, brothers and sisters. But this is our OMOWALE LUMUMBA Shumira, which every year we dedicate this particular time to honor the man who we know as OMOWALE Malcolm X, also known as Malik Shabazz. And we are taught in the Alkebu-Lan Revivalist movement that our great leaders never just drop from sky. So in honoring OMOWALE Malcolm X, I always like to honor the source from which he came, namely his mother and his father, Louise Little and Earl Little. Mama Louise Little and Papa Earl Little. We also want to hail his wife, Mama Betty Shabazz, without whom he would not be the man that we know him to be today, brothers and sisters. We also want to honor their children, 6 daughters, brothers and sisters. 6 daughters who had to live with the sacrifice of their father initially and then their mother eventually, brothers and sisters. We must remember the fact that OMOWALE Malcolm X was a father and a husband. So we want to honor Papa OMOWALE Malcolm X's family. And finally, well, second to last as far as the family is concerned, we want to honor the grandson of OMOWALE Malcolm X, Brother Malcolm Shabazz, who also was killed, assassinated in the year 2013, brothers and sisters, representing the 3rd generation of manhood in this particular line, as we remember the fact that Earl Little was also assassinated to have been snuffed out by the forces of global white supremacy and Bakra imperialism.
Come on.
Are you with me, brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
And it's easy to forget Malcolm Shabazz, but we must remember Malcolm Shabazz.
Yeah.
And finally, as far as the family is concerned, I also want to honor Mama Ella Collins, who is the big sister of OMOWALE Malcolm X, one of his greatest supporters and one who really played a mothering role in his life, and again, without whom he would not be the man that we know him as today, brothers and sisters. And so we always want to remember the fact that our great leaders come from people.
Yeah.
And we must remember the people from whence they came.
Word, sir.
Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
Can we hail them all as we go forward in the message? I know that the information regarding Shumira was put out with a particular title, and due to recent events, brothers and sisters, I have made the decision to revise the focus of the message today. And as has been already stated, the year 2025 is the 100th birthday of two great Africans. One being OMOWALE Malcolm X and the other being Papa Patrice Lumumba. OMOWALE Malcolm X, born on the 19th of May 1925. Papa Patrice Lumumba, born on the 2nd of July 1925.
Yeah.
We're also going to honor Papa France Fanon, who was born on the 20th of July in the same year, 1925. But today's message will not be focused on France Fanon. We're just honoring him in word sound right now. Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
In honoring Papa Patrice Lumumba and Papa OMOWALE Malcolm X, we remind ourselves of the fact that both of these men paid the ultimate sacrifice for us as African people. Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
And in meditating upon that particular fact and the recent events that have erupted in the center of Mama Africa as it relates to the Congo,
Yeah.
I was meditating and it became apparent to me that the message today had to give central focus to the Congo.
Yeah.
As we bring our people in the Congo to the shrine today, and we stand unequivocally and unapologetically with our people in the Congo.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we have to remind ourselves of the fact that what is currently taking place in the Congo never started yesterday.
Word, son. Word, son.
What is taking place in the Congo has a very long history.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is intricately tied up in the entire Ma'afa,
Word, son.
the colossal destruction of Africa and its people. Remembering
Come on.
that what we now call the Congo was one of the first places that the European went when he was seeking to capture our ancestors and traffic us across the ocean.
Come on.
Remembering that the Congo was one of the places that was ravaged the most.
Word, son.
Remembering that the Congo was given to King Leopold of Belgium as a personal gift from the rest of the white world. They gifted this devil, the Congo, as his personal plaything
Yeah.
to do with what he will, our ancestors, our people, our land.
Come on. Come on.
To the point, brothers and sisters, that under King Leopold, the population of the Congo was effectively halved.
Come on.
A genocide that is not remembered today.
Oh man. Here's king of the worst. Yeah.
Africans in the Congo were massacred to the tune of over somewhere between 10 and 20 million.
Come on.
Between the late 1800s and the early 1900s. Brothers and sisters, only to be taken from King Leopold and handed to Belgium as a state for the crimes to continue.
That's right.
Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
We have to understand this history. And then a man by the name of Papa Patrice Lumumba rose up in the Congo and said, in words, we have to change the situation. And across the waters in the United States of America, a man was already on the scene by the name of OMOWALE Malcolm X. And so, in reasoning with Spirit, Spirit said, today we must honor Patrice Lumumba and OMOWALE Malcolm X.
All right.
That's what we're going to do today, brothers and sisters. So the message is OMOWALE and Lumumba, the makings of a revolution.
Come on.
OMOWALE and Lumumba, the makings of a revolution. Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which brings us back to the words that opened, the wisdom words that opened our message today. There's a lot that we could say in relation to the relevance of this, but for now I want you to pay attention to the fact that Oduduwa, this is the reading given to Oduduwa. Oduduwa in Yoruba culture is the progenitor of a nation. Generally speaking, Oduduwa is seen as a male, the father of the Yoruba people. However, within the Oduifa, there are occasions upon which Oduduwa is a woman, a female.
Yes.
And if you know anything about the word Odu, you will know that it is a word that denotes the womb of creation. Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
A feminine principle.
Yes.
But the idea that we're highlighting here is the fact that Oduduwa, male or female, is the representation of the foundation of the nationhood of the Yoruba people.
Okay.
Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
And Oduduwa was called upon to sacrifice and do good for his or her people. But that everybody would not recognize the worth and the value of the sacrifice.
True.
But Oduduwa was called upon to sacrifice anyway, nonetheless. And that in the sacrifice of Oduduwa, the good that Oduduwa does will return unto Oduduwa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
For real.
OMOWALE and Lumumba, the makings of a revolution. Bear in mind, brothers and sisters, that for Africans in this dispensation of time, the process of nation building is and will have to be a revolutionary process.
Word. Word.
A revolutionary process that calls upon us to recognize the sacrifices of our ancestors and do good with the good that they gave and left for us. Are you with me?
Yeah.
More could be said on these words, these wisdom words of our ancestors. For the sake of time, we are going to move on. 1960, the 30th of the month called June, is when the nation that we refer to today as the Congo was granted what is referred to as independence, brothers and sisters. Which for the most part across the African world, independence was little more than a farce,
Yeah.
a jamboree, a circus, a pantomime that involved granting black people flags and anthems in order to institute the process of and the program of and the system of neo-colonialism.
Yeah.
Is everybody with me?
Yes. Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters, I'm going to be going very, very quickly, so you need to bear with me and stay with me. You understand? Fasten your seatbelt.
That's right.
And give back the energy when I get uno.
Yes.
You follow me?
Yeah.
You ready for the thing?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
There was a man in the Congo by the name of Papa Patrice Lumumba
You live.
who understood the dynamics that were taking place around him and realized that the forces of Bakra imperialism,
Come on.
the forces of the Bakra, the Muzungu, the Oibo, the Obruni, the Tubab, the Mundele, the white man, the forces of their imperialism were seeking
to replace the system of neocolonialism with a system of colonialism. And whilst he was elected as the first Prime Minister of the Congo, there is an independence ceremony taking place. And could you believe that the Prime Minister of this nation that is in the making is not on the bill to speak? Because as well as revolutionaries in the Congo, there are some stool pigeons, some sellouts, some traitors, who, the Bakra, the Oyibo, the Obruni, the Mundele, the white man, would prefer to be ruling the agenda of the people of the Congo. And so Papa Patrice Lumumba sat down whilst in this circus. A prince came from Belgium. His name was Baudouin, colonizer. Rose up and spoke and gave all kind of accolades and plaudits to the nation of Belgium and invoked the demon King Leopold in the ceremony and gave thanks to him because what we are now engaged in, this circus, was a part of the vision of Leopold II. You not hear me I say? And Lumumba said, no, we're not having it. And the man who was not scheduled to speak stood up and took the microphone. And he said that we in the Congo will never forget the crimes that have been committed against us as a people. He also said, brothers and sisters, the Congo's independence marks a decisive step towards the liberation of the African continent. What did he say? He said, the Congo's independence marks a decisive step towards the liberation of the entire African continent. I want to know understand what the man said.
He did say that. Yeah, that's what he said.
We are going to show the world what the black man can do. And let me add, the black woman can do.
When we work in freedom.
When we work in freedom.
Yes.
And we are going to make the Congo the center of the sun's radiance for the entire African continent.
That's right. Yeah.
That's what Lumumba said. He said we are going to keep watch over the lands of our country. Him knows the devil still the boat. We said we're going to keep watch over the lands of our country so that they truly profit her children.
Yeah.
Remember, brothers and sisters, colonialism is the process by which African land is commandeered, African people are subjugated, and the wealth of our people and our land is extracted for the benefit of other people, namely the Bakra, the Oyibo, the Mundele, the Obruni, the white man.
Them there, The Bakra, don't forget Bakra. The crack. The crack. Bakra.
He knew what he was saying. We are going to restore what? Ancient laws.
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
And make new ones. Sorry, we stay upon the ancient laws, you know, but we forget the next part. And make new ones, which will be just and noble. That's what Papa Patrice Lumumba said, brothers and sisters. In the midst of the circus, he knew what he was saying.
Yeah.
And they knew what he was saying.
Yeah, that's right.
This is the 30th of June 1960. A couple months later, in Mosiah, August of 1960, Papa Patrice Lumumba is opening the All-African Conference, which was then held in Congo. You're already with me? Yeah? The first All-African Conference was held in 1958, significantly carrying the inspiration of the Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana. And the Osajefo had a very big impact on Papa Patrice Lumumba at that conference. Is everybody with me? And so the next conference was held in Congo for a number of different reasons. But as the prime minister of this now new nation, Papa Patrice Lumumba opens the occasion and he says these words: "Ministers, dear fighters for the freedom of Africa, it is your duty to show to the world and those who sneer at us that nothing can deter us from liberating Africa." Him never say Congo, you know. Him say Africa. I want to know overstand Wagwan. Which is our common aim. We can achieve this aim only in solidarity and unity. Our solidarity will have meaning only when it is boundless and when we are convinced that Africa's destiny is indivisible. What does that mean, brothers and sisters? Remember that in 1884 and 1885, the Bakra, the Oyinbo, the Tubab, the white man, carved up Africa, brothers and sisters, and sought to confine us in these nation states that were fit for their purpose. Patrice Lumumba, as the Prime Minister of the Congo, is saying this thing is only going to work when we realize that Africa's destiny is what? Indivisible. Such are the deep-going principles of the work you will have to do. This meeting will prepare the ground for a summit conference at which our countries will have to speak on. Listen now. Papa Patrice Lumumba is setting the agenda for the conference. What are they there to speak on? 1, the unqualified support of all African states in the general struggle for a Pan-African bloc. The unity of the political unity of African people. Is everybody with me? 2, a policy of neutralism with the purpose of achieving genuine independence. 3, the breaking down of colonial barriers through cultural exchange. The breaking down of what kind of barriers? Colonial barriers. Okay, all right. Trade agreements between African states. That means, now remember now, the way our nations have been constructed was to privilege and prioritize trade with the so-called metropole. That means whatever colonial power was ruling over us at any point. Is everybody with me? Yeah. There was no consideration given to whether Congo was trading with Angola, whether Congo was trading with Rwanda. We're going to come back to that in a second. Whether Congo was trading with Namibia, whether Congo was trading with Ghana and Nigeria. So that the Africans who are now they want to engage in trade agreements between African states. The deeper significance of that we don't have time to go into today, but please understand that the European world was engaging in a similar process at this time because they were trying to repair themselves after they mashed up themselves after mass European War II, misnomered World War II. And they were seeking to unify themselves and keep Africans divided so that in their unity they can better exploit us for their own purposes. That is the context in which this agenda is being drawn up at this moment in time. The month of Messiah 1960. Then they say Africa's position with regard to the European common market. That means now we're not going to be dealing with the European common market as an uncommon market of segregated and separated and divided Africans. We're going to have one policy. Word. Is everybody with me? Then number 6 now, anything now? Military cooperation. What did I hear what the man said? Yeah. The man said military cooperation. Remember that our people had just come out of mass European War II, fighting for whatever colonizer colonized with. Yeah. If you're colonized by the French, you're in the French armed forces. If you're colonized by the British, you're in the British armed forces. Etc., etc. But now we're going to have a what? Military cooperation among African people. All right. 7. The building in Leopold of a powerful radio station with the aid of all the African states. That's taking control of the media. 8. The creation of a research center in Leopoldville. Leopoldville was then a city in Congo. I believe it's Leopoldville that was renamed Kinshasa. Yes? If I'm not mistaken. It's a get rid of the Leopold name and, you know what I'm saying, and all these things. Yeah? All right. Then now, brothers and sisters, well, let's deal with Papa Patrice Lumumba for a second. Then we're going to come back to Papa OMOWALE Malcolm X. Yeah? Then now, in secret, what has been revealed since is that at the time, well, this part is not secret, Papa Kwame Nkrumah was engaging and building what was then known as the Ghana-Guinea-Mali Union, which is a preliminary union that was designed to basically do a lot of what was just said in the meeting's agenda, collapse borders among African nations and build an African superpower. Yes? Then what they did was, subject for Kwame Nkrumah, I'm not going to read the whole thing because of time, but subject for Kwame Nkrumah and Papa Patrice Lumumba entered into a secret agreement for Congo to join the union at a later point. Yeah? So they were already in the union, but their joining would be made public at a later point. Understanding the forces that were at play at the time, they couldn't reveal everything to the world. But I want people to understand that within this particular secret agreement, the capital of this union of African states was scheduled to be in the Congo.
Yeah.
Is everybody with me? So they were building this union, and they're going to have the center of this union in the Congo.
Come on. Serious.
Are you following me, brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
Why? The Congo is often referred to as a geological miracle in the heart of Mama Africa. The Congo is almost 1 million square miles of the richest expanse of land on the planet. Its estimated worth is 24 trillion in mineral resources. It has 80 million hectares of arable land for producing all kinds of food. I've heard it said that the Congo alone has the agricultural capacity to feed the entire continent of Africa and then some. Man from Congo tell me, you dash see that Congo, it a go grow. Dash see about the place, a fly about the place, it a go grow. Rich land. You following me?
Yeah.
Millions of hectares of forest. Congo, it holds the second biggest rainforest in the world, second to the Amazon in South America. So the resources of the Congo are vast. It's strategically placed in the heart of Mama Africa.
Yeah.
So therefore its positioning politically, economically, and militarily,
Yeah. Absolutely.
it has a lot to say for itself. That's how the ancestors were thinking in the 1960s. What happened, brothers and sisters? This stool pigeon, sellout, traitor, Uncle Tom, is a man by the name of Moise Tshombe. He was on the scene in the Congo. Remember I said the 30th of June is when Congo's independence was declared. Is everybody with me? On the 10th of July, 10 days later, 10,000 troops enter the Congo. Troops from where? Troops from Belgium. You hear what I said? 10,000 troops enter the Congo. On the 11th of July, Moise Tshombe, who has some power in an area of the Congo called Katanga, secedes from the wider nation of Congo. Yes? Secede mean to break where from. So he wants to form a new nation, chopping piece of the Congo out of the Congo and creating a new nation called Katanga. You know the timeline, right?
Yeah.
10th of July, Belgium invasion, 10,000 troops. 11th of July, the very next day, Katanga cessation.
Yeah.
The Katanga cessation is supported, guess by who? The Belgian government, but not only the Belgian government, the major mining corporations that are operating in the Congo, that have been waxing themselves rich of Congolese minerals
Come on. Come on.
for the entirety of the colonial period. Katanga is the place that houses what is known as the ShakaRa mine. And the ShakaRa mine was one of the world's greatest reserves of uranium. Uranium, which was very important at the time because uranium is one of the key elements in nuclear bombs. The nuclear bombs that America used in mass European War II, the majority of the uranium for those bombs came from the Congo.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yeah.
Yes, Katanga is also part of what is called the copper belt in the Congo, along which a number of minerals are found: tin, cobalt, radium, uranium, zinc, cadmium, germanium, manganese, silver, and gold, among other things, brothers and sisters. Yeah, are you with me?
Yeah, yes.
So the cessation of Katanga was not even simply a beef between Africans. When Shumba seceded, the company Union Minier deposited over $1 billion, francs, in his personal bank account. Stop, pay taxes to the Congolese government and start giving money to Shumba. Eventually what took place, brothers and sisters, to cut a long story short, is that Belgium, the UK, France, America, the UN collaborated with these cut-throat, downright disgusting, dirty dogs, sell out them. May they forever burn in infamy.
Word.
Joseph Kasavubu, Moise Shumba, Albert Kalanji. May they forever burn in infamy.
Yeah.
Collaborated to assassinate Papa Patrice Lumumba in January of 1961. He didn't serve more than 6 months, brothers and sisters. Is everybody with me? They then installed Mobutu and kept him in power for over 30 years. And the irony of the situation is that while they sustained Mobutu for over 30 years in the Congo, they were done with him by the year 1996. And you know who they used to overthrow him? A man by the name of Museveni in the nation of Uganda, and another man by the name of Paul Kagame, who is now the president of Rwanda, who was then in the armed forces of Uganda.
Come on.
Is everybody with me? They were trained by the British and the Americans. Papa Omowale Malcolm X is in America observing all of these dynamics. He falls in love with Papa Patrice Lumumba and what he's doing in the Congo.
Come on.
And from the time Papa Patrice Lumumba was assassinated, Omowale Malcolm X always continue to hail up his name. Yes? And call out the forces in Congo who are responsible for collaborating with the enemy, and expose the fact that America was involved in the plot.
Word sound, yeah.
Papa Omowale Malcolm X said, Lumumba is the greatest man who ever walked the African continent. He said he didn't fear anybody. He had those people so scared, they had to kill him. They couldn't buy him. Yeah? Remember what the Odu said about character? They couldn't buy Lumumba. That's why they feared him. Shombe could be bought. Kasavubu could be bought. Mobutu could be bought. Lumumba could not be bought. They couldn't frighten him, he says. They couldn't reach him. Omowale Malcolm X spent most of 1964 on the African continent, traveling around, meeting with heads of state, meeting with grassroots leaders, organizing among them. And as we are informed in a book called The Judas Factor, The Plot to Kill Malcolm X by Carl Evans, he informs us Malcolm X returned from Africa on November 24th, 1964. Arriving in New York that evening, he was greeted by about 60 of his followers. 24 hours earlier, President Lyndon Baines Johnson had ordered airstrikes in the Congo to rescue 1,700 Americans and Europeans whose lives were in jeopardy due to the civil war that had broken out after the collapse of the Congolese government. Yeah? Time wasn't allowed to go into all of the different dynamics that were taking place in the Congo. Just know that the nation was plunged into civil war as these European forces began to back the Mobutu, the Shombe, and the Kasavubu against Papa Patrice Lumumba. Are you following me?
Yeah.
All right? So now we're going to hear from the words of Omowale Malcolm X about what was actually taking place at that time. Tune in.
Congolese have been massacred by white people in the Congo for years and years and years. And if the shoe is now on the other foot, only thing I can say is it's like chickens that always come back home to roost.
Do you personally feel, though, that there's some shame or involvement here or some guilt associated with the killing of other human beings?
I think that the white people should be ashamed of the deplorable situation that has been existing in the Congo, which is not the fault of the Congolese, but which is the result of instigation by European powers who are fighting each other over the mineral wealth of the Congo. And now to make it appear that the Congolese themselves are criminals or brutes because they're reacting to these injustices that they've been victimized by is again ducking the question.
Shombe is the murderer of Lumumba, who was the rightful prime minister of the Congo. Shombe is the man whose forces fought against the United Nations forces and against the United States, and despite this criminal past of Shombe, now the United States is backing Shombe, who has hired South African mercenaries who are hired killers to disrupt the peaceful efforts of the freedom fighters from Stanleyville to make the type of country there that they want. And it is this American support of Shombe, actually, that's at the root of the whole problem.
All right. So now, to provide some context of what he's saying there. Now, you hear that Omowale Malcolm X is clear about what is taking place. And he wants to inform our people in America that what is taking place in the Congo is not just the problem of the Congolese. It concerns Africans in America, partly but not exclusively because the American government has their hands in what is taking place in the Congo. Is everybody with me?
Yes.
But what was going on at that time, brothers and sisters? I want people to understand what was going on at the time. Are you ready?
Yeah.
In 1963, a rebellion kicked off in Congo that is variously, most popularly known as the Simba Rebellion. Yeah? Sometimes you get a differentiation between the Simba Rebellion on the one hand and the Kwilu Rebellion on the other. But it's generally understood that both of these rebellions took place in the same context and were fighting for the same thing. Is everybody with me?
Yeah, that's right.
The leading light of the rebellion was a man by the name of Pierre Molele, who happened to be the Minister of Education in the government of Papa Patrice Lumumba. He was assassinated. Pierre Molele, him go to China to get some military training, come back and go to war with Shumba and Mobutu. Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
Yeah? In the space of weeks, brothers and sisters, yeah? And by the way, sorry, you see Pierre Molele pictured here, alongside his wife, Leonie Abo Molele, who, the last I checked, is actually still alive. Yeah? Living somewhere in Europe. All right? In the space of weeks, now, what you see here in the pink, red type shade is the territory that the Simbas were able to reclaim in the Congo. Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
What you see in the yellow, that's Kwilu. Yeah? So they were able to reclaim that territory as well. So, geographically, estimates of about 2/3 of the Congo were reclaimed by the Simbas in this rebellion against the neo-colonial forces of Mobutu and Shumba and Kasavubu in the Congo. Is everybody with me? This is very important for us to understand. Why is this very important for us to understand? There's a caricature of African governments that begins with the word corrupt. Corrupt African governments is a caricature. And the solution for corrupt African governments is always democracy. And democracy really means let us, Bakra, Oyibo, Muzungu, the white man, the cracker, come and give you, your political system and your economic system. That's what democracy really means. Because Africans are incapable of solving our own problems. We're consistently given over to corruption in government. But what the Simba Rebellion teaches us is that when Africans are in our right mind, we are fully capable of dealing with our own traitors. We know how to deal with them. Yeah, we know how to deal with them. We go to war. So what? Lumumba we say. Take back 2/3 of the country. But guess what happened, brothers and sisters? I've already read it. Lyndon Baines Johnson sent in the troops in support of Mobutu. American troops were sent to the Congo. Anglo-Boers from South Africa were sent to the Congo. That's what OMOWALE Lumumba was referring to when he spoke about the mercenaries that were being sent to the Congo. Is everybody with me? And those troops and their superior weaponry is what turned the tide in the Civil War. All right. Conspiracies unraveling the assassination of Malcolm X. Baba Zak Kondo. Very important book. Reads, in October, Malcolm's visit to Kenya caused the State Department other worries. 3 developments seem to have worried officials the most. The first was that the Kano backbenchers of the Kenyan Parliament passed a resolution expressing full and unqualified support for and complete solidarity with Malcolm and the Afro-American freedom fighters. Yeah? So Malcolm's gone to Kenya. Are you following me? He's met with them, right? And he's gone back to America. And while in his absence, brothers and sisters, no, sorry, this is in his presence. Yeah? It's in October. Members of the Kenyan Parliament vote and pledge complete support for what is developing as the Organization of Afro-American Unity, which is what OMOWALE Malcolm X was building in the United States at that time. The second was that Malcolm attended at least 2 state affairs as the guest of high-ranking Kenyan officials, including President Jomo Kenyatta, who was the president of Kenya at the time. The third development was that the State Department fears that emotional and less sophisticated Kenyan leaders would accept Malcolm's twisted account of the American racial and civil rights situation. So they're scared of OMOWALE Malcolm X informing Africans on the continent about the realities that African people are facing in America. Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
So the Africans on the continent now begin to pledge support for Africans in America. But on the other side of the waters, what's happening? Back to the Judas factor. On November the 28th, 1964, President Johnson, the Secretary of State, Dean Rusk, received letters condemning US support for the CIA-backed regime in the Congo, requesting the administration withdraw its support and to revise its foreign policy towards the Congo. The letters were signed by the following civil rights leaders: James Farmer of CORE, Dorothy Height, President of the National Council of Negro Women, A. Philip Randolph, President of the Negro American Labor Council, Whitney Young, Jr., Executive Director of the National Urban League, Roy Wilkins, Executive Secretary of the NAACP, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., President of the SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Council. Why is that significant? All of those that I've just mentioned are in fact the moderate end of the fight in America. These are the civil rights leaders that OMOWALE Malcolm X was known for cussing, for their soft, integrationist, assimilationist inclinations. Are you with me?
Yeah.
But even them, the moderate, saw what was happening in the Congo, and they're listening to OMOWALE Malcolm X exposing what is taking place in the Congo, and they wrote a letter to the president to condemn what was going on. When the moderates jump on the agenda, the Baka know him in trouble.
Yeah. Word song.
Because OMOWALE Malcolm X realized, and if you listen to the speeches that he delivered in the last year of his life, he continues to talk about the power structure of Europe that is oppressing and enclosing itself on African people on the continent. He goes to the continent and he's warning Africans on the continent not to overcome European colonialism, only to become victim to what he called American dollarism. This is the end of the year in 1964. OMOWALE Malcolm X is assassinated on the 21st of February, 1965. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So when we see this particular situation today, understanding that Paul Kagame, as president of Rwanda, just like Shombe, just like Kasavubu, just like Mobutu, is not acting independently of his own volition. Paul Kagame is an agent of Bakra imperialism, doing the bidding of Bakra imperialism. And there's another version of this image that I'm yet to put out there, which is going to feature on one side former Prime Minister of the UK, Tony Blair, and on the other side, former President of the United States of America, Barack Hussein Obama. Because it is them and their institutions that are currently in control of Paul Kagame. So when you hear that Rwandan troops have invaded the Eastern Congo, understand that Kagame has been a puppet of America and Britain for the entirety of his presidency.
That's right.
Understand that when these big Western corporations are acquiring minerals that come from the Congo, that do not come from Rwanda, that is being facilitated by Kagame. Understand that some of us as Pan-Africanists have been confused on the issue of Kagame.
Word. Speak on it. Word.
I hear too many Pan-Africanists
Too many.
bigging up Kagame like he's something good.
Yeah.
Because you go Kigali,
That's it. Pretty rude.
and you see pretty road and tall building,
Yeah, excited.
and get excited. And the fact that this has been funded by the exploitation and a genocide
That's right. Come on.
that is being committed against the people of the Congo never seems to cross your mind.
No.
Long-standing Pan-Africanists who I respect,
Word.
talking this foolishness.
Word, song. Bring it. Word song.
We cannot afford, in this day and age,
Come on.
to be confused on those issues while our people in the Congo suffer the consequences.
Word.
And I call on all Pan-Africanists, if you've been parroting the foolish narrative,
Nonsense.
in this context now
Come on.
is the time to correct yourself.
Word. Song.
Paul Kagame is a demon
Word.
and an agent of demons. Let us not be confused.
Yes, the agent. That's the right one.
Brothers and sisters,
Them are the demons.
I also want to make it clear now, we're not fighting against the people of Rwanda.
No, it's at all.
We just understand that the government in Rwanda is an agent of Bakra imperialism. We have to call it like we see it, brothers and sisters. Time doesn't allow to go any further. I do want to quickly just highlight the fact that our OMOWALE Malcolm X observance is going to be focused on what we need to do to address situations like what is taking place in the Congo, brothers and sisters. And we're going to be blessed to hear from online Baba Mwalimu Beruti and my spiritual mother, our spiritual mother, Mama Marimba Ani. So you have to be here on the 23rd of February for that. I also want to formally announce, brothers and sisters, that the Malcolm X Centennial Committee is organizing the Centennial celebration for OMOWALE Malcolm X on the 17th of May. You also need to be in the house. Is everybody with me, brothers and sisters? So we're going to get that word, but let's close on the word sounds of Papa OMOWALE Malcolm X.
Most people, when we say Afro-American, they think only of the Negroes in the United States. But they don't realize that 2/3 of Brazil consists of people of African blood, which means they're also Afro-American because Brazil is in South America. And in all of these, many of these countries in South America and Central America, and even in Canada, they are heavily populated with people whose ancestors came from Africa. So when you total up the number of Afro-Americans, real Afro-Americans, in the Western Hemisphere, there are perhaps 100 million. And if these people ever unite among themselves, not only is it necessary for the Afro-Americans in the United States to be organized, but it's also necessary for the Afro-Americans in the Caribbean, or the Afro-Cubans, the Afro-Brazilians. It's necessary for all of them to be organized. And then once they are organized in each place, we have to organize among ourselves so that the Afro-American in the United States will be working in conjunction in a coordinated program with those who are in Cuba and those in Brazil and those in Venezuela and those throughout the Caribbean and Haiti and in the West Indian Islands. And in this way, we actually get strength. And it's not an accident that there's no organization existing in the Western Hemisphere that's designed toward that end. It would be a direct threat to imperialism as it really exists and to colonialism as it exists in the West. And one of the things that's going to help to bring this about is the independence of Africa. One of the only reasons that we in the West have never organized, we have hated our image and our African image. And because Africa has been in the hands of people who have created an image of Africa that's negative and hateful. And it has been hateful to us. We haven't wanted to identify with it. But now that Africa is getting independent and in a position to create its own image, and it's a positive image, those of us in the West look at the African image and see how positive it is. We begin to identify with it. We become proud of Africa, and we become proud of our African blood, our African heritage. And this is what is beginning to make the Africans in the Western Hemisphere today develop more race pride. And as this race pride develops, then it has a tendency to make us want to unite together and work together. And your Western imperialists and colonialists consider this to be a grave threat. More threat than communism or Marxism or socialism or anything else. The Africanism is what they consider to be the real threat.
Who's on the wall, brothers and sisters? Who's on the wall?
Patrice Lumumba. Yeah.
This was in and around a month before OMOWALE Malcolm X himself was assassinated. Mm-hmm. And he's compelling us as African people to once again unite. Papa Garvey said, unite, organize, now or perish.
Come on.
The reality is that what is taking place in the Congo is not the result of an individual. It's not even the result of one nation. The entire might of European, governmental, and corporate power is geared towards sustaining the reality that we currently see in the Congo. And we have to understand as African people, our people in the Congo ain't gonna solve it by themselves. Our people in the Congo can't do it by themselves, in as much as it takes the might of the entire Western world to oppress our people in the Congo. It's gonna take the might of the African world to free and to liberate our people in the Congo.
Yes.
And we must liberate our people in the Congo. We must liberate our people in the Congo. We must free our people in the Congo. And we must do it, as OMOWALE Malcolm X said, by any means necessary. 10 now, my brothers and sisters.
Hey.